I'm sure most of you are looking forward to me reviewing this, since this is mainly about Sunset Shimmer gaining her driver's license. And she doesn't have experience, so that she needs help from her other friends in order to help her out. And those characters are Applejack, Fluttershy, and Rarity. And as far as I'm concerned, her situation involving Cranky Doodle, if I got his name right, I honestly think that her motivations is pretty much something that other person who's trying to drive will always go through nonetheless. Granted, not all the time, but considering that this is Sunset Shimmer, who's from Equestria, who spends most of her time in this world we're talking about, I honestly think that this is something that can actually, I really think that she's actually the perfect person to actually pick a character in order to help her out, since that the other characters do live in Equestria Gores, but at the same time, they're not like the pony counterparts, since that those no cars exist in Equestria. Okay, if you want to talk about Manhattan with the carts and stuff like that, yes, but they're not cars. They're just carts with ponies pushing the carts. It's just, I'm just letting you know that technology only exists in Equestria Gores. I've been saying that for so many times in these reviews. So anyway, the choice involving Applejack is, well, she can actually use Granny Smith's vehicle, and the lesson is to actually have Applejack is to have Sunset learn to fix one of the tires, which is something that does actually happen in real life. As far as I'm concerned, the idea of this ending involving Sunset Shimmer fixing that tire because it's been popped, I honestly think that it's a great way to actually teach kids onto how when they get older they fix a tire before they completely drive when they become 16 and stuff like that. And I honestly think that this actually kind of works. But the thing is, this really is mainly about Sunset just trying to learn how to fix a tire. And this ending didn't have anything to do with driving. Granted, the tires is always important and it always takes you to a destination, but considering that Sunset is really prepared on just trying to drive one of the vehicles with her friends is mainly the main focus of this. So I honestly think that the fixing the tire does actually kind of work, but considering that Cranky Doodle is strict in this and just want to actually see if Sunset can actually succeed for her tests, I honestly think that this ending is mostly the least I would pick. Not saying that it's bad, but it's just mediocre. Rarity's ending involves pretty much probably the best ending I've seen when it comes to this short. Mainly the fact that we get to see the indoor of Rarity's RV, Rarity's limo. It's not actually an RV, it's actually a limo. And I really have to admit, considering how famous Rarity is, it's really no surprise that we're going to expect something like this whenever we picked her as the ending of this short. So her ending involves Sunset just trying to actually learn something about music and actually just trying to focus on the world. Yeah, I say that because in the other half of this short, we actually get to see Sunset driving, while Rarity just gets a massage from the back of the car. Yeah, that's basically it. She just gets a massage. And she really doesn't do a lot. Granted, she says that it's stressful to do some driving, which does make sense whether you're on a long drive. But at the same time, I honestly think that this is mostly Rarity we're talking about, which is what you expect, but at the same time, her ending is better, and I honestly think that she's the better choice. But whenever I look at it, it feels like she's just trying to actually have Sunset see what to do during riding the vehicle, and also putting her focus on looking at where to drive. Granted, she did help Sunset Shimmer on parallel parking, but at the same time, it honestly feels like Rarity is just doing this just so that she can actually help Sunset Shimmer while also being relaxed in her limo. As for Fluttershy's ending, she's not the least I would pick because, for one thing, she's just trying to be a bit playful and actually teach Sunset on how to drive properly and actually understand how to be prepared before driving, which does actually kind of work. But considering that she's mainly just trying to actually be a bit playful, and the fact that her car isn't like what Rarity and Granny Smith's car is like, I honestly think that her motivations in this is just basically another option that Hasbro probably need to put more effort in order to make it work for a third option. As for the ending of this, video, it just made Sunset Shimmer playful, kind of like Fluttershy. That's basically all that we've seen from this. Granted, it's always being prepared and actually do everything correctly before driving, and it does actually kind of work, and I can actually see it. So for my perspective, this is the second best out of the 3 endings I've seen. So the Rarity one is the better one. Yes, I know I critique these a lot much, but the thing is, I never drive, and I never will. I'm 22 years old, and I don't want to get into a car accident. As far as I'm concerned, I never had a car accident, and it's always taking so much experience to actually mesmerize the learning of driving, no matter what person you are. So, yeah, if you properly expect me to actually pick the ending that I would choose the most, despite my awkward critiques, it will obviously be Rarity. And as for everything else, like I mentioned, it does actually kind of work for what kind of ideas that Sunset Shimmer will need to do before driving, like fixing the tire and stuff like that. But in all honesty, I still don't drive, and I don't get most of the stuff. Granted, I need to actually understand how to do most of the stuff when it comes to writing fanfiction, but that's besides the point. I give this a 7 out of 10. I know it's kind of a bit higher, but at the same time, at least I'm being respectful to this short for what it's trying to do involving Sunset Shimmer getting her driver's license.